You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene. I'm Wole, but my homie Ray Jeezy's out, but hopefully we'll have him back on during this week. We got some shows this week, so hopefully we'll have the homie Ray back on this week. But you can check us out at www.urbansportscene.com. You can also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel as well. If you're on our YouTube channel right now, please hit that red subscribe button and like this video. Don't waste any time. Hit that red subscribe button and like the video. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, my homie Will T used to say this. He ain't on the show no more, but he used to say this all the time. Let's get into our tradition, the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Host of Locked On Wizards podcast, Brandon Scott will join me to talk about the Wizards trading Kyle Kuzma to the Bucks for Khris Middleton. All right, let's introduce my guy off the rip, man. You know, he's been talking about this dude Kuz a lot. You know what I'm saying? Now it comes to fruition. What's going on, B?
Hey, what's up, fam? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you, man? They finally did it. They finally did it.
Finally.
A lot of people. I've had some people had some lukewarm reaction to it. I had my man text me. It was like, "Oh, this is what they got," but we'll get into it. But like, let me just talk about it instead of like going all on a tangent about it. Today, the Washington Wizards traded Kyle Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and a 2025 second round pick to the Milwaukee Bucks for Khris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a 2028 pick swap. First off, for you, was this a good trade for the Wizards? And explain your point either which way.
I think it's the best deal they could have gotten, man, because they waited way too long to move on from Kuz. You could argue last year they had to deal with Dallas. I get they didn't want to take on Grant Williams' contract. But, I mean, when you look at the draft, man, you had Sacramento right there at 13. You trade them to Sacramento for 13. You still have Denny. You can get Bub. You still can get Keyshawn. They just missed your chance, man. With the market, you have to hit the market when it's right. You have to hit the market when it's right. And they were not able to trade him when his trade value was at his zenith, man, when it was at his highest. And they had to take what they can get. This move, I mean, what a bad move. I mean, Khris Middleton, yeah, it's not your prime time Khris Middleton. Obviously, he's lost step. He's in decline. They're definitely they made it known that they're going to try to trade him tomorrow, but don't be surprised if they hold on to him. But they're going to still try to flip him and try to get some more assets. Could it be a buyout candidate? I wouldn't think so because there's still too much money left on the table. He still has a player option next year for $33.5 million. So with his age turning 33 next year, I definitely expect him, if he stays, to enact a player option. So, I mean, he's a guy you can mentor Bilal. I think it's a good move as far as mentorship. But, I mean, let's be real. What can you expect from him at this stage in his career is really unknown. AJ Johnson, to me, is the prize part of this deal because while his resume is small, his potential is through the roof. 6'5", 160, little twinner. In the game, waiting to get him down there at Ben's Chili Bowl. But but the kid can play, man. I mean, 6'5", he's got the size. He's versatile. He can shoot from three. And like I said, very raw. I mean, he needs some work, but he's got 2 years left on his contract after this year. So we have some time to kind of develop the kid, man. So I think it was a good move. Now, the part what I didn't like is the pick swap. I mean, when you do a pick swap, the expectations are you want to be that team that comes out on top. Portland's the one who gets the best pick, so I don't really understand that. I feel like that Will Dawkins could have finessed the first round pick, and I feel like they kind of took advantage of him. He's look, don't get it twisted. He's still a first time GM, so you still got to build that clout around the league, and he doesn't have that clout yet. Obviously, a lot of your longer tenured GMs are going to try to, try to play him a little bit, and I feel like he could have finessed the first round pick because, like I said, a pick swap, and we gave up a second round pick. Yeah, it's a 2025 second round pick, but still, at this stage, year 2 of a rebuild, I'm not ready to give up draft picks yet. I want to accumulate. I want to give away. So if I'm kind of grading this trade real quick, I'm gonna say a B minus. I mean, Khris Middleton, mentor, but what do you really expect from him? And while his contract is a monster, you only got this year, and if he enacts his player option, you only got next year we're not doing anything anyway. So his money's going to come off the books when we start to make those moves. So it really doesn't tie us down long term. So it's not a bad move, but you had to get what you can get, and it wasn't much on this market.
Yeah, I know. A lot of folks are mad that they didn't get a first rounder. I said this before on X and on other shows that I just don't feel like Kuz is worth at this particular point in time isn't worth a first rounder. And I know, a lot of people, they look at Kuz, especially, and they compare it to what they saw last season, what they were offered last season, and they're like, oh, we can still get a first rounder. But like, truth be told, in terms of the market, where he's at, especially, and also the stuff that he was saying, prior to his exit, made it pretty easy to say, if I'm a team, I don't want to give up a first rounder. If if he's unhappy, I don't need the reward that I know they're trying to upload him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can't really be real surprised about the package because his trade value dipped. The dip in production, the injuries, and then it doesn't help when you're going toe to toe with folk on X, and you have these comments. He drops 30 points, and then he says, "Well, after dropping 30 points, no, I'm not being aggressive. I'm gonna get mine. I ain't worried about develop these young guys." I mean, he had to go. I mean, he asked out, kind of behind the scenes. I was actually the kind of the person to put it out there, but he asked out behind the scenes because he didn't want a lot of noise behind a trade request. But I mean, the writing's on the wall. But Bilal is ready to take the next step to be that second guy. Jordan Poole put the time in all season. He played at all-star level. He deserves at least for the next couple of years to run the show. And then once we hit that second year, because the next 2 years are very pivotal. Because what? I mean, you got to make a decision on Jordan Poole, and then Bilal's our first guy up for the extension. So the contracts can kind of be an issue in 2 years, but give him the keys for the next 2. I mean, why not? Because we're a rebuilding team. We have no expectations. And right now it's all about development. And look, AJ Johnson, man, is solid. I'm trying to tell you, he could play. He could play. Just give him some time and develop him because, Malcolm Brogdon, if he's not traded, maybe you give AJ 10, 15 minutes, get his feet wet this year in the second half and then see what you got next year and go from there. But if you trade Brogdon, I'm not against Bub Carrington and AJ Johnson being in that backcourt on the second unit and kind of see what they can do because both the potential's there. He's versatile. He can shoot from 3. He's athletic. 6'5", he fits the mold of a taller guard. So, I mean, to me, he's a sleeper in this whole trade because I think if we develop him right and he puts that work in, he's going to be a really good player here in DC.
I hope so. So, my man Killer Cam, what's going on, buddy? Says Kuz is gone. Jonas Valanciunas is gone. Yes, he's gone to the Sacramento Kings. We'll touch on that a little bit later. He said, is Brogdon next?
Yes, I would say that he's definitely going to be shopped next. But I'll say this too: a lot of teams are kind of hesitant because of that injury history, and he's got a price tag of $22.5 million. So for a contending team, even though it's an expiring contract, it's still a lot to ask for a guy who may or may not be available for a playoff push. So he's got value. I was looking at a team like Cleveland. And even though they got Ty Jerome, could they use a savvy veteran backup point guard behind Garland? They could. I mean, and then one guy I'm looking at would be Okoro. I would love Okoro to come to DC because I think, again, he fits the mold of what the Wizards are trying to do, which is they're trying to find defenders who can stretch the floor. And you see that in AJ Johnson. You see that in Bilal. Bilal's trying to step it up. Alex Sor's got that capability. So that is the mold not only for what the Wizards are trying to do, but what the modern NBA is trying to do, where, 3-and-D type of players who are versatile is the name of the game.
What? So AJ Johnson, what makes you? I mean, I know you mentioned a little bit about some of the things you do like, but what makes you so keen on like him having an impact on this team? AJ Johnson, I'm speaking of. Like, what do you think his role will be when he gets to DC? Do you think he'll get a lot of playing time coming into DC, or do you think it's like a wait and see approach?
It could be wait and see because, like I said, if they don't move on from Brogdon, then it's not going to have many minutes to go around between Brogdon, Jared Butler, and Bub. So, hopefully you give him 10 to 15. If not, give him 10 minutes with the go-go. Why not give him, those starting minutes in the go-go? Same thing with CD Sissoko, man. Same thing. Put him in the G League, see what he can do with extended minutes. But it really depends on further moves. If Brogdon gets moved, then maybe you give him a look with Bub, but then you still have Jared Butler. So it really depends on future moves being made or not made.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully he does. Like, when you're, and this is not no shade to the Wizards, but we're not playing, we're not playing great basketball, right? I feel like all the young dudes should get the playing time. I don't think even if Brogdon is there, it shouldn't really be deterrent on him getting playing time. I'll be real with you. What are you playing for? Like, what's Brogdon being? What is like the only individual that you want to see grow as a young vet? And call that is probably Jordan Poole. That's it. Yeah. Other than that, you don't care about any other all the other vets. Shoot, I'll be trying to trade to get some other young talent that's not utilized much in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm a big believer. If you're going to like tank and then kind of take flyers on players where, who aren't at a big risk in terms of contract, why not get a particular player that isn't utilized and see what can happen? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give you an example. This is like the Lakers took a flyer on Monk a couple years ago.
Yeah.
All right, he got a good showing. They Lakers messed up though. But like takes a shower, and then he goes to Sacramento. Sacramento takes a fire on him, and look at him now.
Yeah.
Like look at him, like look at the money that he's probably like worth now. You know what I mean? Because look how he's playing. So there are players out there like that. Oh, see, I like that. Cam says 2 guys who might get traded. I hope they don't trade Marvin Bagley. But go ahead. He says 2 guys who might get traded is Marvin Bagley and Sadiq Bey. You agree with that?
Man, I like both of them, man. I would love to see them part of the future, man. Sadiq can ball. He's young. He fits the timeline. I mean, Marvin Bags, man, you could argue it's going to be hard to move off from him, man, because, I mean, while he's found the right system and the right environment here in D.C., that's what he needs to find is the right support and cast, the right environment for him to succeed, because he didn't have that in Detroit. He didn't have that in Sacramento, but he found that here. Sadiq Bey, what can you really expect from him at this stage? I mean, he's still young, fits the timeline, but coming back from the ACL, maybe a lot of teams want to kind of wait and see what he can do coming back from the injury next year. So it's going to be hard to move on from both of them because the same thing, Marvin Bags with that injury is a concern. And because availability is your best ability. So you got to be available to play. But Sadiq, you can say the same thing as the issue with all three, Marvin Bags, Sadiq Bey, and Brogdon, is teams are going to be leery to try to trade for these guys because of the injuries. You want to trade for a guy who's going to be able to be available for a playoff push. What's the point of making that move at the deadline if the guy's going to be on the bench when the playoffs start? You know what I mean? So
facts. That's what I'm saying. Like that's my thing. Like I'm with you. Like I just feel like Marvin Bagley and Sadiq Bey fit the deadline. Like they do the timeline. Excuse me, fit the timeline. So there's no need to go out and trade those individuals because I feel like Marvin Bagley, we've seen it. He's shown potential and with his team when he gets minutes. And then Sadiq Bey is a bucket. Like if you watch him play, he a bucket. The whole thing is obviously the injury and coming back from the injury. But truth be told, you kind of winning if you get him if he comes back from the injury and he's the Sadiq Bey we've seen in the past. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, he can ball. You can't take that away from Sadiq Bey, man. He can ball. So I mean, like I said, they can wait and see. They have nothing but time. And I'm an advocate. Why bring him back from injury so soon? Let him sit for the year.
Yeah, let him sit for the year. Like there's no need. I'm with you. Like. You can it's actually a good bargain. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got him on the cheap because of the injury. He comes back. He's a Sadiq Bey that you saw prior to the injury. Now you got a player that is probably worth more than this contract. So I'm with you.
Oh, but look, don't get it twisted. Next year is a similar situation this year. There's a lot of wait and sees because Corey Kispert, that's another guy who's been linked to Tommy Shepard. That's the last Tommy Shepard guy. And while I like Kispert, I think he has value here, but he's going to get an extent, he's going to get some interest, especially if he steps it up in the second half of the season because he's kind of had, an inconsistent up and down year, man. But it's wait and see for a lot of people because Will Dawkins next year is going to make some moves. And then year 4 is when you want to see that, definitely a lot of progression from your young core. You know what?
I like you just said, like Corey Kispert. I didn't think about it. Could he get traded before the deadline? Well, I think he would be good. I've said this before. I think he fits a good team. I think he's a very talking about a dude who does. I think it can warrant a first rounder on the low because of his value as a shooter for a winning team. I think a winning team would definitely trade there because the first rounder for a winning team is a late round pick. So they don't really care about it, to be honest with you, typically. So they tend to throw those out there. I kind of think if you're a team that needs shooting and Corey Kispert's on the market, I could see a team giving up a first rounder for a Corey Kispert.
Well, his extension kicks in next year. So is there complications to trade him? Absolutely. But the only complication is any potential team that wants to acquire him will have to take $11 million in salary in acquiring him, and where the Wizards lose, I believe, is it $5 million? I got to double check. But I mean, there's a way to trade him. But like I said, I think his value is you could get a first round pick for Kispert if you give him time to really show what he good in the second half because he's had an up and down year. You're not going to get that first round pick right now. So wait and see. Give him some time, give him those minutes, man, let him step up. And then in the offseason, see if you can get that first round pick.
Yeah, I do. I see. I can see that. Ray said Ace Bailey going to need help. Nah, Ace Bailey. We talking about the one Cooper Flag. Man. It's Cooper Flag, bro. You gotta aim big. You can't just, Ace Bailey nice. You gotta aim big, bro. You get that number 1. Yeah. So got Middleton. Middleton to me is another trade piece. I wouldn't be surprised if they could find some time to trade him before the deadline to another winner, or like Brandon said, maybe a buyout. But he's a guy to me, if you can, I think there's a possibility that you can try to trade him because again, a winner is going to want him. Like a winner would want him. Like that's the way I'm the Wizards. How I'm going with this. I'm like a winner. If I can trade him to a winner, then yeah, a team that was trying to have playoff aspirations, a champion, like maybe a championship aspirations. To be real with you, like a team that say they want another shooter, like maybe Boston be like, I'll give y'all a second rounder for him just to be on the bench, somebody like that. You know what I mean? A team, because I don't think at this particular point in time in his career he's a starter anymore. To be real with you, I don't think so. I think Milwaukee was trying to still have him in that role, but I don't think he's a starter anymore. So I do think that if you got a team that is trying to win a championship and say they think they can get him on a bargain, like, you know what I mean? Like, or trade away and think they can utilize him or take on that contract. Yeah, I think he can do it. He's got how many years he got left on his deal, Middleton?
This is the last year of his deal, but he has that play option for next year. So
see, that's what I'm saying. Like,
he makes what, 31 million this year, then he has a play option for
depending on the team. You know what I mean? I feel like I would try to trade him and see what I can get for him. Because I do think a winner would, you know, one way or the other. If I'm the Wizards and I want to buy him out, I would definitely keep it on the low though, because then that would ruin the value, the trade value.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I keep it on the low. Butler went to the Warriors. That happened?
I hope not. Good Lord.
I think it did happen. Maybe it did happen. I think I'm getting the alerts. I think it may have happened.
What
you said, man, go ahead and send this team to. Nah, go ahead, chill out, man. You're doing too much, bro. To the Seattle. Nah, chill out, dog. Get a brand new expansion. Chill out, yeah. Chill out.
Oh yeah, it's official, man.
It's official. You said it. Yep. You said it. That ain't gonna help the Warriors. I hope y'all know that, right? It ain't gonna help the Warriors. Butler, Jimmy is not. It is what it is. I ain't gonna say nothing. Can't say. Did y'all see Cooper Flag on Saturday? I ain't see him. What did he do on Saturday? I ain't watch him on Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't watch him on Saturday either, man. But he's been balling out.
What do you do on Saturday? Let me know. What do you do on Saturday? What do you do? I ain't watch him on Saturday. I mean, I love Cooper Flag. If anybody has noticed, I love Cooper Flag. You know what I'm saying?
He's a baller, man. I'm trying to tell you, he's a baller.
I love Cooper Flag.
We get number one, you run to that podium.
Yeah, you run into that podium. You run into the podium. All right, so we already talked. All right, so who do you feel like this? Who do you feel with Kuzma being traded? Who does this open? What opens up for this Wizards team in terms of young guys? Who gets to flourish more with Kuz being traded?
I'm gonna say two people, man. Number one, it is officially the Jordan Poole show, at least for the next couple of years, man.
Okay.
And after that, they're gonna have to evaluate the contract situation. But for at least the next couple of years, man, it's his team. You know, so he's got to hold down starting point guard and be that leader in the locker room because there's expectations now. Especially if you look at the way he's taking a lot of these young guys in his wing. You know, he's shown a lot of leadership. And he put the work in all season. But don't get it twisted. Now he has to be that guy. It's one thing to be that guy, but then you have to be that guy. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of pressure to be that guy now. Bilal Koulibaly, it's time for him to step it up now. Now there's expectation for him to break out this year because he's shown what he can do. You know, when Kuz was out, he showed a lot of promise. Shoot, I watched the first quarter in this game tonight. I mean, they look good. I mean, there was some energy with this team tonight, man. So these young guys are ready to play. So I think now is the time for Bilal to be that guy, to be that second fiddle to JB13.
Yeah, I do. I'm with you. I think it's going to. I mean, Jordan Poole, obviously, I feel like there's going to be he wants the leadership role. It's hard. I mean, I don't know how hard it is, like to say obtain it now, because I feel like Kuzma was being a jerk anyway. So I feel like he's probably taking that on right now anyway. But I do think that now that, like, obviously there's less pressure when he's on the court. There's less pressure to like kind of soothe his ego. You know what I mean? Like there's less pressure to soothe his ego while he's on the court. So I do think they'll play freer when he's not in the locker room, because obviously there's that big elephant in the room. He don't want to be here, and when he's on the court, he ain't trying to win for basketball games. He's just trying to, pretty much try and get his shots off. That's all he's caring about, to get his shots off. So I do think that does alleviate some of the pressure, of having that dude on the court. You know what I mean? But I feel like the younger guys, I want what's the kid from Baylor? The kid from Baylor, right? I'm trying to think.
You talking about Jared Butler?
Huh? No, not Butler. Sorry, the draft pick, the other draft pick, drafted in the first round. He went to Baylor, right? Am I tripping? No, maybe not Baylor.
Which one?
Nah, not Baylor. It wasn't Baylor. I'm tripping. Not Bud, but the other first rounder.
Keyshawn. He went to the U.
Keyshawn. He went to Miami. He went to UM.
Yeah. He went to Miami.
Miami. Okay, that's with Miami. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to be good for him. Actually, I think it'll be good for Keyshawn. I think it'll be good for him. I think it's something that, like, him getting this playing time be really good for him. Because now, and I kind of would like to see him play more with this. I would like to see him start more. You know what I mean? I know they like they're trying to cap him with the ball in his hands a little bit more, but I like to see him start more. I just think that, again, like I said earlier, man, like when you aren't playing great basketball, in terms of wins and losses.
Yeah.
It's time for like to showcase the young dudes. It should be like their playground. Let them and see what you got out of it. So I do think, but to your point, I think freedom, obviously, for Jordan Poole, he has the keys. There's no denying that. Like he's the guy now to run this franchise until they get a true number one. Like you know what I mean? Yep. That's where he's at right now. Unless and maybe he puts himself into that situation. Paul has a question for you for B. He says, "How was Bud playing?"
Bud.
A Bub. He's on a Bub.
Oh my bad. Bub. It's all good. Bub, man. Look, Bub's another one of those guys. I see a lot of these young guys, man, getting some extended minutes in the second half and playing good. I mean, just watching the first quarter tonight, Bub, man, he's step back three. I mean, once he figures it out offensively, man, and really becomes that floor general, man. I'm saying Bub is going to be a baller. He's a sleeper in this draft. I mean, he's just you can't forget that he only played 1 year at Pitt, so he's still relatively raw, man. So he has to be developed. Keyshawn, same thing. He didn't have a lot of offensive responsibility at Miami, and I think he only averaged 3 or 4. He was mostly a 3-point shooter. Now he's starting to put the ball on the floor, create for others, and kind of be that guard, because at 6'8", he sees himself as a guard. So, I mean, we have all the right pieces for the right recipe, man. I mean, the name of the game in the NBA is versatility, shooting 3-point shot and defending. Between Sar, Bilal. I mean, we don't put a lot of accolades as far as how good Keyshawn George is on the defensive end. He's shown a lot of promise on the defensive end. I mean, Bub Carrington, a lot of energy. And so, like I said, AJ Johnson, another guy who potential through the roof. And we're going to talk about Sissoko in a minute, man, but he's a guy who, with his size, the defense, he's more of a defensive-oriented player. So we're heading in the right direction. Like I said, I made it known all year, man. I made it known time and time again. You're not going to like the returns. I knew that we were not going to like the returns for Kuz. And if you were expecting a first-round pick for Jonas Valanciunas, you were going to be disappointed, because not many teams are going to give up a first-round pick for a guy who is going to be a backup. I mean, in Sacramento, he's backing up Sabonis. So me personally, if I'm a GM, I'm very hesitant to move on from draft capital for a guy who's a backup. But I mean, he was productive here, played well here in DC, but in this stage of his career at 32, he has to be on the team where the system's right. He's not if you're a team that wants to push the pace, Jonas Valanciunas is not your guy, because we know he's not the guy to get up and down the corner anymore. So he's perfect in Sacramento, in my opinion.
So, all right, speaking of Jonas Valanciunas, he was traded, and I know, obviously, folks was hoping for a first rounder. I don't know why folks would think you get a first rounder, but I don't know why. I guess folks thought teams were desperate, because I know a lot of folks were like, the Lakers will give up a first rounder. I was like, even before the Luka trade, I was like, no, they won't.
Not even on 2K, bro. Like,
yeah, what are you doing? Like, first rounders. I mean, I know it's a first rounder, but still has to fit the mold for a certain. It got to be at least like almost a starter, like buddy starter. But your thoughts on the Valanciunas trade?
Yeah, I mean, when he was signed to be traded.
Of course.
Now, if you look at his contract, was there really a need to hurry up and trade him? No, I mean, it was a very affordable contract. I feel like if they decided to keep him at least till next year, great mentor. Like I said, he's produced here. He can hit the 3-point shot. He's not a sniper per se, but he can hit that shot mid-range, scoring in the paint. And he plays with a chip on his shoulder, that toughness. He's a guy who really pushed Alex R to show a lot more aggression. But I mean, you want young prospects in draft picks. 2 second rounders, it feels like we have every second rounder in the NBA has. But I mean, looking at, I forget the prospect we got from Sacramento, man. Sakos, man, help me out.
Sakos, I can't say his name. I'm hoping I'm letting you try to go.
I mean, the young man coming from the Kings, right?
Yeah, the Kings, there you go.
I mean, 6'8", 200 pounds. He has the body to play in the NBA, but his resume is smaller than AJ Johnson's. He had barely played, so he's unknown. He's raw. I mean, you see the versatility. He can play 3 positions. He's 6'8". You see, he's got a lot of. I mean, he can play defense. I'm saying the potential's through the roof defensively, especially with his wingspan. I mean, I believe last time I looked at it, he had 7'1", 7'3" wingspan. So he's got the body for playing the NBA. But another thing is he's a second round pick. So after next year, he's gone. So he's got to show something in relatively quick fashion, man, unless they go the Tristan Vucevic route. They keep him around a little longer to see if you could develop him. But, to me, I'm not a big fan of the trade. I think that they could have did better. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
thought
he's
so
a good
too.
prospect,
Yeah.
but he's unknown and he's not even signed here long term. So, he's probably a go-go guy unless there's injuries in the second half. So I feel like they could have did better, man.
Yeah, I thought they could too. I didn't think that trade was kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you for getting like for Valanciunas. And I'm trying to figure out for Sacramento, like why, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I guess they want depth for depth for a backup for Sabonis. So I guess I didn't get the trade on
No, they
both
got
sides.
Alex Len. They have
Yeah, I didn't get
Lyles.
the trade. I know what I think, and it's like it's going to be funny. It's going to sound funny, but I think maybe they saw like when they played against each other because they did like I think Sabonis and Valanciunas they were going at it. It was like a really good war in the block,
Yeah.
and I kind of think that Sacramento was probably impressed by him because like to your point, I was like I don't know, like it ain't a vicious move for me. But okay, so we got a Bucks fan said I lost my boy AJ Johnson. Make sure he plays. Doc didn't. Okay, folks like him. They think he got game.
He can play. I'm saying.
He can play.
If he reaches that potential, man, he's a baller.
Mm-hmm. No, he can play. He can play. Oh, he didn't go to. Oh, so he didn't go to college.
Let me double check.
I checked. I thought he didn't go to college.
I'm not sure, man.
Well,
To be honest with you,
there is value. I mean, dude is a first round pick, so there is value there.
Well, he was picked like what one pick right before Keyshawn George.
Yeah, so there's value. There's value. To your point, to your point, it does fit the timeline.
I'm trying to see. It says not available for college, so I think he can go to college. Yeah. So yeah, I think he might have been not an overseas guy, but trying to think he wasn't a G League Ignite. I gotta double check, man. That's wild.
I don't think he played. I'm looking at his wiki. I was like what's because I used to pay attention. Like what college he go to? Like he don't got his college he don't got his college.
Well, I think he played in Australia. I think the Bucks fans saying he played for the Illawarra Hawks in Australia. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I see that. Like I'm like, yo. I was like, yo, did he go to college? What school did he go to? But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's only 20, which is good. Like,
oh yeah.
He said he know everything. Hey, Shaq, hit me the game, bro. He did say that. Like, yeah, he went to Hawks in Australia. So he overseas baller. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Hit me on the game, bro. Hit me on the game. I'm trying to know what he about. Because I believe, like I always say this, man. There's so many talented young dudes. I mean, so many talented dudes in the NBA period that folks don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm all for it. Like I'm all for it. I do think that if he gets, I just want to see him get the opportunity. I feel like, and I'm gonna say this to you, Shaq, for real. If you follow this dude, the Wizards will give this man the opportunity to get some playing time to play. Because Doc was on a whole different level, obviously, because he's trying to get this team prepared, to get the Bucks prepared to try to, obviously win a championship or go to the championship or whatever. But the Wizards are different. Their timetable is a little different.
I tell you what, man, Doc Rivers got some job security that I ain't never seen, but I wish I had job security like Doc, man. I mean, what is it? That one title with Boston?
Yeah.
And he just gets job after job after job, man. I just, but like I said, I like the move. I mean, when looking at young prospects, I wanted them to go get Beauchamp. That was one guy I was looking at from Milwaukee, man.
I like him. Beauchamp, he's a bucket. Now that's a good one because he barely. I don't think he gets the appropriate playing time. That's a good one.
Yeah, I would have loved him.
That's
in DC,
a good
man.
one, actually. That's a really good one. Yeah, he's my favorite player, and sadly lost him today. But Doc ignored the rookies ignored the rookies always. See, all right. I like to get intel, bro. I like that. I like intel, bro. I do. I appreciate that because I do feel like because folks in DC they're gonna act like they know him, but they don't. But they'll find out. You know what I mean? Nah, you know how it is. We be like, yeah, man. He going like, nah, you don't know him yet.
Not yet. But you don't know him real quick.
You'll know him eventually, but you don't know him yet. You're gonna see everybody see merch. I'm the same way. I'm like, oh man, that boy nice. I like that as a Laker fan, I was like, they drafted a dude from Pepperdine. I was like, oh yeah, boy, nice. He's like Brandon Ingram. I was like, nah, he ain't Brandon Ingram. I saw him for Summer League. Nah, he ain't Brandon Ingram. But I tried to play myself though. I did play myself. He from Cali.
Okay.
Yeah. Y'all could have had. He said y'all could have had Marjon. He getting cut at the end of the season, most likely. See.
Ooh, come on to DC. Come on.
See, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. But all right, so all right, let's go. Let's flip it for like he's a Fresno State kid. Okay. Let's flip it on this side for Kuzma. Do you feel like Kuzma is going to be a big difference for Milwaukee?
Oh, absolutely, man. Okay. I mean, he doesn't have to be that number one guy. He doesn't have to shoulder the whole offensive load or split it with Jordan Poole like he did here. You know, you got Giannis, who's going to take over 35 to 40% of the offense, and then you have Dame Lillard. So all he has to do is go in there, shoot about 5 to 10 attempts, and make 15 points a game, and just be that third scorer, man. I mean, it's a perfect spot for Kuzma, man, because we all know he's not a number one option. He had to be that guy in DC, and we know why he had to be that guy. But on a contender, he's a third or fourth option, and that's the best spot for him. And it's not a knock; that's his best spot. And I think he's going to flourish in Milwaukee, man. I really do.
I do agree. I do think he will. I feel like it's depending on how he wants to play basketball.
Yeah.
This team has different goals than Washington has. So they're like Giannis wants to win a championship. Dame wants to win a championship. So your two best players are championship hungry. So I do think that for that alone, it puts him more down to the side of play your role, right? Almost to a point, be real with you. Almost to what Laker Kuzma. Yeah, you're going to see Laker Kuzma. I agree with that, Paul. Oh, so he can't take dumb shots. He's going to be playing his role and just play it. Because I'm telling you, he started doing that dumb Kuzma stuff that he's going to be on the bench. Period. Like that he's gonna be treated that way. So I do think that where Middleton was at. I mean, where Middleton was at in his career, Kuzma is probably a better player. Only what I will say this about, and I hope like Milwaukee fans don't like take for granted, is that Middleton was uber clutch. And Kuzma, he's had some good showings, but he's not as clutch as Middleton.
No, he's only clutch against the Pistons, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, he's got the perfect situation because he has a coach and 2-star players who are going to check him. And in DC, who's going to check him? A first-time head coach? No, he ain't say nothing to him. I mean, you know, he can go out there and just shoot shot after shot, but then in Milwaukee, he goes 0 for 5 in the first quarter. They're going to be like, look, man, you need to figure this thing out. They're going to check him. So he needs that. And like I said, I think it's a perfect situation for him. I think he's going to do well in Milwaukee. Now, is it enough to really put them the challenge to Cavs or the Celtics? I don't think it's enough, man.
No, that's enough. That's not enough. Because, again, you got to be locked in. You got to be a player who's locked in for real. Players like Kuz, I don't really bump with because, like, you have to – like, they can't find the moment to be motivated. Like just like the situation now. Look how he carried it. Like, that lets you know a lot about his temperament as a basketball player. Oh, yeah. I don't care. I'm going to get my shots off. How about, all right, I don't care. I'm going to make my player. I don't want to be here. I'm going to make my teammates better.
I ain't here to develop at all.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think about, I use AD as an example of like how to really act when you want to be traded.
Yeah.
But how you respect your teammates. Like, AD wanted to be traded out of New Orleans. I'm talking about New Orleans. He wanted to be traded out of New Orleans. And then he just like, he wanted to play, but they just sat him because they were like, he was going to sit him. But he was like, all right, I'm going to sit. They want me. That's what they want. I want to play. I'll play for my guys, but they want to sit me. I understand. Yeah. But he wasn't being a jerk. He wasn't saying, I'm trying to get out of it. He played hard. He still tried to help his teammates around him. And that was it. That lets you know, like you, whatever you feel about AD, like he wants to win a championship. Like that mind can definitely have you say, like, okay, you put him on the right team, he can win a championship. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that about Kuzma. And I will say this, like, Kuzma was lucky to play with LeBron and AD to win a championship. So regardless how you feel about that championship is a whole different question. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I love that championship. That's me, but I'm biased. But but for him, but if you watch it, like at times he didn't get to play. Like he didn't play at times in the fourth or whatever because he was starting to do some dumb stuff.
Yeah. So
he's the type of player you really have to kind of watch. But I will say, like, Middleton, like, should be appreciated for Milwaukee because what he did, man, he was clutch.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was clutch, man. He was clutch. But yeah, man, Kuz out of here, man. Valanciunas is out of here. Kuz is out of here. So, man, how are you feeling about the state of the Wizards, though? With all this, all of it has transpired. How are you feeling about the state of the Wizards?
Ooh, good question, man. I want to say they were headed in the right direction. And I made it known that I was one of those people that wanted to rebuild. I got tired of building for the middle. I wanted to rebuild. We're in year 2. Okay. So I always said I'm going to give head coach BK in the front office 3 years. And then but Don't get it twisted. Going into next year, we need to see some progression. I'm not expecting anything serious like the playoffs playing, but as far as a developmental standpoint, you need to see Bilal take that next gear, kick it in the high gear next year. You need to see some progression from Bub, Keyshawn, definitely from Sar. Number 2 overall, you need to see some progression. And he's gotten better every week, man. So Sar has gotten better. And I think that's a testament both to the culture you're trying to build here. And look, here goes Brian Keith, man. He is one of the best developmental coaches in the league. And I mean, look at the resume. So we have the right pieces, but we need to see progression. Year 3, you need to see progression. So, like I made it known, you're not going to get the best package for Kuzma, but he had to make the move. So we got to move on. So we got what we got. Let's move on. Same thing with Jonas Valanciunas and any other trade we might make tomorrow or even in offseason. We have to move on. That sometimes it's addition by subtraction. We had to make that move because, like you said, Kuz, and it's weird that, year 1 of your deal, you're all about it. Year 2, you're ready to roll. So, I mean, the writing was on the wall, man. I think the reason he wanted to go was Jordan Poole emerges that guy. Kuz was the guy last couple years. He played at all-star level. You could argue that if the team was better, he would have been an all-star. But, Kuz or JP put that work in. He took the crown off his head and took over the locker room, man.
You think that's the reason? You think that's the reason?
Oh, absolutely, because it's an ego thing. And because he came in wanting to be that guy. And then the team made it kind of – and look, all right, think about it. When somebody gives you a choice whether you get traded or not, what does that tell you? They kind of put it in his head like, oh, okay, it made him think that he was the guy because you don't ask many people in the league whether they want to be moved or not. I mean, that's a LeBron question.
Yeah,
that's you know what I mean? Like, he's not that guy, and it's no knock on Kuz, but he's not that tier of a player where you ask him whether he wants to get traded or not. I mean, you either get traded, or you don't.
I think your point is I think you're close. I think you're about right. I do think there's a little bit more. I just think that I don't think it's just Poole. Like I think Bilal played. I feel like he knows the direction of this team. Like he knows it ain't about him. So because at first it was more like when it was Bradley Beal, like it was about Bill, right? Bill was the star, supposed to be the star of the team they went through. But you could see like the fan base having a growing love for Kyle Kuzma. I kind of think it's more than just the organization, to be real with you. I do think that's now more of the fan base saying like it wasn't like all Kuz anymore. Like the fan base kind of turned their heads to Kuz a little bit. I think it got the act got kind of old for the fans. Yeah. And you see like obviously him going back at folks on Twitter, like it's not the same admiration and love for him as it was earlier. You know what I'm saying? And maybe Bradley Beal played a part in that because people are like, yo, that's that Bradley Beal, John Wall dynamic. So like, oh, you chose this dude over our guy, John Wall. So we're going to like Kuz over you. You know what I'm saying? Like there was that element out there. And I do think that he saw the writing on the wall with like, obviously the organization going a different direction. But also I think, he wasn't like the fan favorite anymore. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And because I think like you may say Poole, but going to the game, I feel like Bilal has been a guy that folks have been really enamored with throughout this process, this maturation process. You know what I mean? Poole is the flashy one. But when you hear the crowds and the fans, at Capital One, like when they cheer, like when they talk about when I'm sitting there and doing like in the media, like a lot of folks like Bilal. It's always Bilal. Yeah. It's not about like if you Poole at times like, oh, that's a bad shot. Oh, it's a good shot. Oh, he's hot. Like it'd be lukewarm with Poole. When he going good, it's good. But when he going bad, and you hear the negativity from the crowds. But Bilal, it don't matter. Like I literally sit there. I'd be like, oh, y'all love Bilal. It don't matter what he could be off, and you be like, they love Bilal. So I do think that because you could see that Bilal's, and you're right to a certain extent. Like obviously, when you put that money in the pool, that you make that trade, there's an investment, right? And he's seen that. And even last year, he could have been dope. It wasn't like it wasn't like Poole was they were trying to trade Poole last year like that. They were trying to trade Kuz like that. They were trying to trade Kuz. He was getting the offers. So he knows the writing was on the wall. And I think in that way, to your point, he felt a certain way. You know what I mean? So
I think he didn't read the room, man. I compare, look. The heartbeat of any organization in sports is the fan base. That is the pulse, man.
Facts.
And it's the same thing. You could argue the mob of Rome. That they are the heartbeat of what's going on. And it's okay. In an election year, you go on Twitter and you argue with people about politics. Like people are going to have a feeling about that, man. I mean, and I'm not the person that says they need to shut up and dribble. I think that if you have a platform, use it. But you know that with anything in life, man, with a decision, it has a reaction. And you know the passions are high that once you go into the political realm, either way, somebody's gonna be upset. And he took that route, and you got to deal with the consequences. But when you got your mom on here arguing, it really echoes the whole, Bradley Bell and his wife arguing with people about a 2K rating.
Facts. There you go.
People don't have time for that. And then you go and you have an interview on Vogue talking about, oh man, I feel pressure to go buy these outfits. Like, bro, what are you saying, man? Like, people are paying $300 to go for tickets and are struggling out here, and you talking about you feel pressure to go buy a pink jacket. Come on, man. Like, it's stuff like it's tone deaf, man. Like, I believe that Kuz is a good guy. I think that he came here, he did his job, he was productive, but he was so tone deaf when it came to social media and how he talked. You drop 30 points, and then the first interview you do is, well, I had to go out there to be aggressive, man. I ain't worried about the development. It's like, what do you want people to feel? I mean, I think that Kyle Kuzma is a good guy who did everything in his power to be a bad guy. Because, you know what I mean?
He did everything in his power to be a bad guy. He said, screw that, man. I don't want to be here. I want to be a bad guy. I want to be the villain.
Because I think he's a good guy, man. I mean, I
like that. I like that line. I'm gonna use that.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good guy, but he did everything in his power to just rub people the wrong way. True. Like, you drop 30, just let people give it. Everybody's ready to give you your flowers. I was ready that night, about to do a recap. And I was like, man, look, Kuzma dropped 30. I'm gonna give him his flowers. And then he comes out and says, well, I got mine. I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, he kept, to me, he needs a publicist, and he needs to go ahead and he needs to cancel that X account, man, because it's not his friend.
I mean, to your point, he just don't care. Let's just be real, like, he don't care. And I said this, like, this is when people, like, I said, like, the reason why I knew he would love Washington, because he just don't care. Like, winning ain't a thing for him. Nah. Like, he wanted to get his numbers up. That's what he wanted. He wanted to get his numbers up to Washington, be the best place for him to get his numbers up, maybe make an all-star team. It kind of changed the narrative of him being like, he can't be a star player, right? Yeah. Like, that's what he wanted now. And he thought he was close, and he couldn't. And then he couldn't. And you got to do that, you still got to win basketball games, and he couldn't win basketball games. And I've said this before, like, if Kyle Kuzma is your figurehead, your leader of your team, you're not going to win basketball games. That's just not a thing. You know what I mean? So, but for you, Brandon, before we end this show, bro, what would you say is his legacy here in DC? It's wild to say legacy, but you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's not much of a legacy, but he's a guy that came in and did his job, man. I mean, when he came over from the Lakers, he was known in LA as a guy going back and forth with Lonzo, putting up videos and
they love
stuff.
Each other. Yeah.
He grew up in DC. He became a complete player. He grew up, became a man here, and he did his job. I mean, like I said, the only bridges he burnt was, don't be that team, or I'm gonna get mine. It's just stuff like that. But he didn't get in trouble. He didn't break the law. He didn't. So he's just gonna be another above average player who just came and went through DC, because we didn't win a championship, and he wasn't on the level of John Wall or Gilbert or even Antoine Jameson. You know what I mean? So
no, not at all.
It's just
not even Larry Hughes.
Not even Larry Hughes. So I mean, he's just another guy who played good basketball here, but it is what it is.
Yeah. No, what? That's a good question. Actually, I thought about that. Who would you rank him in terms of just another player? Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of players I put in front of him, and I put Nene in front of him. I'm just being honest. I mean,
that's true, because he's a winner. Because he was a winner. Nene was a winner.
Yeah, I mean,
I would put, what's my guy? Gortat. I'll put Gortat over him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll put Martell Webster in front of him, because Martell Webster.
Oh, that's just
he's efficient.
That's that. I'm just messing. But he's efficient though. That's just nasty work. That's just nasty work. I put Kwame Brown over him. That's nasty work.
Whoa. All right, now look. Hold on now.
Hey man, B, is always good to have you on, man. Before I end this show off, bro, how can folks catch you on social media, man?
Oh, absolutely, man. Catch me on X at Locked On Wizards. Catch me at Locked On Wizards. We put videos out every single day, and I just accepted the position with Inside the Wizards at Sports Illustrated.
I wanted to talk about that, man. Congratulations! I heard your last show. I was watching your last show with Ab and it was Ab and someone else. Oh God, maybe it was just Ab. I know you had three.
Greg Finberg.
Yes, I was watching that one. Yeah. So congratulations to that, bro. Congratulations to you, man.
Yes, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So y'all trying he's SI, man. Pull up, my guy. Pull up to my guy. SI, bro. He doing it. Pull up.
I'm trying, man.
Where's the content, man? He the voice of the Wizards, man. My man Paul said, congratulations to you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right, B, man. Yeah, but left. You said every. So in terms of Locked On Wizards, every day content.
Every day, man. Every day.
Okay, so you hear this now. I'm gonna make sure. So y'all go on. Matter of fact, I gotta keep. I'm gonna be better at doing this. I told myself I'm gonna start making sure. I'm not just going to say. I'm not just going to say join the pod. I'm gonna be like, hey, here's the link. And I'm gonna put the link in the chat so folks can subscribe. That's what I'm gonna start doing.
Much appreciated, man.
Yeah, I gotta make sure people use. I'll be like, hey, subscribe to everyone. I'm like, damn, like they're not going. People need it fed it to them. I know this. People need things fed to them. This is not an insult. I'm just telling you, I need stuff fed to me too. I ain't
yeah.
Absolutely. I'm that person. I'm lazy. I know who I am. I own it. You know what I'm saying? So it's in the chat, y'all. Hit that, click that link, subscribe, man. You know what I'm saying? More subscriptions for my man. He doing big things. He go to Wizards, he cover Wizards games. He's there asking the questions. So he ain't just giving y'all content as a Wizards podcaster. He's also a Wizards reporter. So, hey, B, thanks for being on, man. Appreciate you. Go catch the rest of that game, though, bro.
Yes, sir. Got you.
All right. My man Paul is already subscribed to you. All right, y'all. All right, B, take it easy, man.
I don't.
All right. Yeah, my man B, man, big time, man, big time. Make sure y'all hey Paul, appreciate you, man, subscribing to the homie, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. All right, man. This has been a dope show. Hey, tomorrow we're going to talk about the rest of the NBA trades. We're gonna be on at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. I have my man Justin Lee, Just Blaze from the Above the Rim podcast. He's gonna join me. We're gonna talk about my man Luka coming to LA. We're going to talk about maybe Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors. We're going to talk about De'Aaron Fox. That's the one I really care about. Going to San Antonio and much more. So, man, make sure y'all pull up. 7:00. We in there, bro. 7:00. We talking NBA trades. So y'all pull up. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about good teams. Yeah, and whatnot. No trash, no disrespect on the Wizards. We're gonna talk about some good teams, good trades. Lakers. Oh yeah, Lakers. Lakers. We're gonna talk about this Lakers stuff, bro. Luka, we gonna talk about some Lakers. Finally, I'm gonna have an opportunity to talk about my Lakers on a grander scale. So we're gonna have. It's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be fun, man. Definitely gonna be fun. All right, John. Make sure again, if you're new to the channel, hit that red subscribe button and subscribe to our Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. Hit it. Oh, we're Lakers versus Warriors. Okay, yeah. When's that? Wait. That's when though. That's tonight. When's that game? Oh, you mean we're Lakers? Okay, is that game up? I gotta check the Lakers schedule. Usually I'm all up to date. Let me check the Lakers schedule. But yeah, man, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, tune in, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Again, I'm gonna say it again before I got sidetracked. I'm sorry, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to our Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're racing up there. So if you're new to the YouTube channel, hit that red subscribe button and also like this video. Also follow us on X at Urban Sports Scene, IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Hey, and also we're going to also have a Friday show previewing the NFL, the Super Bowl. So we're going to have my man Lee Biden on. We're going to have him on Friday at 5 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Oh, tomorrow. All right, bet. Oh, that game going to be lit. Oh, that's going to be litty, Paul. Yeah, Lakers, Warriors. We own the Warriors now, but AD ain't going to be there. We may not own them like we used to. But yeah, so on Friday, we got a pod, 5 o'clock, Super Bowl preview. My man Lee Biden going to be on. Ray going to be on. We're going to shoot the breeze. We're going to preview the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about who the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl. Hopefully the Chiefs win because I don't like the Eagles right now. So we're going to preview that Super Bowl. So make sure y'all pull up. Also, again, visit our website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. Anyway, appreciate all of y'all for pulling up. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. Yedig deuces. Your boy Wole is out.
Peace.